Hey guys, what's going on? It is Game Addict here, and today we are going to be going over the 4.2 patch notes for Operation White Noise mid-season reinforcements, which just came out today. It goes live on the TTS tomorrow, Thursday, January 11th of 2018, so make sure to go and check it out because there's going to be some big changes coming, some that the community has been asking for, and some which seem a little bit unwarranted. There's been some nerfs and some buffs, but let's hop right into it with Ela because she is probably one of the most asked for nerfs in this community, and Ubisoft is finally delivering. While it may not be the nerfs that we are necessarily looking for, it is at least another step in the right direction. So to start out, Ela's SMG will have a reduced magazine size. Previously it was 50 bullets in the magazine and 51 chambered. It will now be 40 bullets in the magazine and 41 chambered. While I would still like to see this be brought down to 30 and 31 chambered, it still is a step in the right direction, and I'm happy that they are doing it. Now, under the game designer notes, they do say Ela is overpowered in her competition, which is something that we as the players obviously already knew. Her select rate is nearly every single round, and while they do say for good reason, she has one of the highest win rates, the highest kill-death ratios, and highest kills per round out of all of our characters. And while they did nerf her recoil control in the last patch, it wasn't enough to kind of deter players from picking her. So hopefully this will kind of give that overall effect that she is like a normal operator and not a 3-speed with 50-bullet machine gun. Now there is another nerf that is coming to the concussion grenades, which should affect both Zofia and Ela. And before, you were not able to sprint while under the concussion effect. Now you will be able to sprint. Now this is actually something that I'm very happy to see, because that concussion sprint disablement is a very, very big deterrent. And I think at least if you're concussed, you should still be able to sprint. I understand the turning radius is slowed down, but being able to get away a little bit quicker while you are impaired is pretty important. Now the next nerf that we see coming to the list is for Ashe and her R4C. Now they've tried to do some nerfs to Ashe in the past or some buffs to the G36C, but it still looks like the R4C is going to be the primary choice of weapon for Ashe mains. It is going to have a damage reduction from 41 damage down to 39, and this infograph here shows what they're trying to do. The new normal damage is just going to be a bigger drop off from the initial damage point. It will still have the same damage output at a 35 meter to 40 meter range, and same with the suppressed. Now the extended barrel, they have also dropped it down, but keeping the 35 to 40 meter range just a hair under what it previously was. Now, something that's going to keep people still on the R4C is its intense rate of fire. It has 860 rounds per minute. So while the G36C generally is a little bit more accurate and does a little bit more damage now, the R4C will most likely still be the weapon of choice. Remember that Ashe still has nearly no head hitbox. She is a 5-speed, and her weapon is a laser. In a game where headshots are one-shot kills, this really shouldn't impact Ashe mains too much, especially when we look at her on the Pro League level. I think they're working in the right direction, but unfortunately, I don't think this will have too much of an impact. The next update we have on the list is Capitão's Power 308 is getting a damage buff from 43 damage up to 48 damage, which is actually quite nice. So now it should feel like his primary assault rifle should be viable and do some damage. Now in the infograph here, we can see that the 35 to 45 meter range will still have quite a bit of drop off, except with the new extended barrel attachment. It will do 39 damage at 35 to 40 meters instead of 36. In the designer notes, they say Capitão right now is not attractive enough, and that is something that I would have to agree with. When he first came out, he was quite attractive with his fire bolts and his smoke bolts, but right now, after the rework of smoke, that's the only thing that really keeps him going, as he's another operator that brings smokes to the battle. So hopefully after this update, we should see just a little bit of a higher pick rate with him, since his damage will be buffed, and they are planning on kind of changing his loadout in the future. Now the next change that we see brought to the table is actually quite a drastic one, and one that I don't think we saw quite coming as big as it is. Twitch's shock drone is getting a reduction in ammo, and now the reduction is quite large. It's going from 15 charges all the way down to 5, and now that's 10 total with her 2 shock drones. Now I did just a little bit of digging on my own while I was reading this, and on some maps, even older maps, vanilla maps of Rainbow Six Siege, there are 5 cameras on the inside alone and 3 cameras on the outside of certain buildings. So this is going to be something that I think will will drastically reduce her pick rate because she is no longer going to be able to harass enemy op 4, take out bandit charges, take out Jaeger ADSs, take out goo mines, and take out the cameras inside the building. This is going to drastically reduce her pick rate. Now, if I had to choose, I would have put her charges somewhere around 8. 8, 9, maybe 10. Now this is 20 total, 16 total, 18 total. It's a little bit more balanced than, say, just 5. Now the next change we see is that Bandit's barbed wire is getting reduced down to 2 from 3. Now this was actually something that made Bandit quite unique and quite special to play, was that he had the 3 barbed wires to bring to the table, which used to be both Jaeger, Bandit, and the GSG-9 recruits all had 3 barbed wire, and they reduced that on Jaeger and the recruits to make Bandit quite the special pick. Now they want to reduce that even more to try and bring down his pick rate, even though Bandit still has his shock wires. He's still quite useful in juggling, and he is still quite a good operator, being a 3-speed with a high rate of fire SMG that has very little recoil. So while I see what they're trying to do in lowering his pick rate, I don't think this is the right way to go. And now the last buff, the last major buff that we have on this list here, is that Legion's goo mine timer is being reduced to 30 seconds from 35. Now this is not only, I think, a great addition to this operator. I personally love Legion. I think he's a great defensive trap operator, but he's now going to be able to lay more goo rounds per round, which is, I think, amazing. His gun is awesome already, has very little recoil, very high rate of fire. His goo mines do a great job of slowing down the push as well as the plant, and I just overall love that he has impact nades. I love that he can kind of be used as a tool as well. So these are the major improvements. There are going to be more improvements that are on the list if you want to go check them out. There's going to be some UI changes to the casting, so Pro League should be changing up in the near future. There's going to be some spectating fixes. There's some more operator fixes, which are more or less just minor. The ones that we read off today are the major ones. So if you do want to check it out, make sure to head over to rainbow6.ubisoft.com and check out the patch notes. I appreciate you watching today's video, and make sure to leave a like and a comment down below to tell me what you think of these upcoming mid-season reinforcements and what you are looking forward to or wish they would change differently. Thanks for watching today's video. Have a good one.